What's up, my people? I love you guys. So we're talking about the 21 areas of Nashville. We're giving you the vibe of the area so you can find your tribe. And today we're in WeHo, baby, Wedgewood-Houston. Man, this is a very unique area compared to a lot of the other areas of Nashville. So we're standing underneath this art exhibit here. It's just very fitting because this is a very artsy area. There's a lot that's going on here. So before we get into the housing, you may be able to hear in the background, we're right next to Nashville Fairgrounds Speedway. So a lot of zoom taking place. So just right back here, there's a convention center here. So like there's Comic-Con, some anime type things that are taking place here. So pretty cool, right? To be able to go to that right in your own backyard. But also further back here, like over here to my right, you've got the Nashville soccer stadium. So, I mean, think about where we're at and all that's going on just within this small little area. So we talked a little bit about the art side of this place. I mean, there's a lot that's going on here. So people come from all over. They've got a first Saturday of the month, like an art crawl that takes place. I mean, that's not something that you see everywhere. So it went from the streets were lined with factories and with warehouses, so incredibly industrial, to now it's a hub of much more urban, much more modern things that have been built. And you'll see in some of the houses that we look at later, you know, you've got some mixture of some condos, you've got some mixture of some townhouses, but you also have some absolutely beautiful, modern, they're almost like works of art have been created in this area and a variety of different price points. So I'm excited to be able to show you guys all that we have to offer in the WeHo area. And if you're in the area, need some help, we've got the details down below on how to be able to get a hold of us. Like and subscribe to learn more about the different areas of Nashville. As we're walking along, just be able to show you guys, give you guys the vibe of the area. But I think you're gonna love what we have in store for you today. We're here in the WeHo, Wedgewood-Houston area, and there's basically 3 different price points that you're gonna fall into. So the good thing is if you wanna be in this area, if you're one of them crazy artsy folks, which I love my daughter Sarah, she's one of them crazy artsy folks, there's different income levels there. So what's great is that we've got something for everybody here in the WeHo area. So behind me, there's just closed just within the last couple months. So it's a studio. So no bedroom, but this is new construction, about 411 square feet, 1 bathroom for right at $299.9, which to be in Nashville and to be able to get in something that's a new, you know, condo for under $300,000 is pretty remarkable. And they've got a variety of different price points there. So if you need something a little bit bigger, they go all the way up to 3 bedroom, 3.5 bath for, you know, right around 1.7 million. So from about 300,000 to 1.7 million, all in one building. You're not gonna see a ton of cookie cutter on any street here in the Wedgewood-Houston area. So you're gonna see some of the condos, you're gonna see some townhomes, like we can see right across the street here, some of the new construction townhomes. You're gonna see some of originals, like the 1920s to 1940s, but you're also gonna see some of these that are a mix of, you know, 1970s little ranch houses that were built. So you're gonna see a bit of a mixture. So one of the cool things, because this is kind of an old industrial area. When we say industrial, like there was just a lot of manufacturing that was going on in this area. So some of those buildings have turned into mixed-use buildings where you may see commercial on the bottom and some residential up top. Or much like some of the videos that we shot in Marathon Village, where those buildings have been repurposed. So you'll have a very industrial, when I say industrial, like exposed brick, high ceilings, very open because it, you know, used to be like a factory in some of these areas, or restaurants or other things that used to be there that now have been repurposed to be residential. So it's just an eclectic mix of things that are going on in the Wedgewood-Houston area. But one nice thing is that most of the streets, like not only do you have sidewalks, but you got pretty wide sidewalks, enough where people can walk side by side. A lot of mature trees that are here. So even though a lot of the construction here is some newer construction, it still has a kind of a small town feel to it. Like if you didn't see the skyline of Nashville or some of the high density population, and don't get me wrong, like depending on what area of Wedgewood-Houston that you're in, it definitely has some high density, you know, where you're talking 8-9 stories high density population centers. But you've also got these areas, just like what's behind me. And when you look at, you know, you've got the front porches and the chairs out on the front porches, and it just gives you kind of a nice little community feel. So one of the things, this is just kind of an offshoot, but it's, for some people it may be important to them. So some of the newer neighborhoods, this isn't just in Nashville, my understanding is around the country, is that you'll start to see these mailboxes for the entire neighborhood. So if you're the type of person that likes to be able to just walk right out down the driveway and to be able to get your mail, some of the neighborhoods over here in WeHo are going to be on the newer system, and so you may have to, you know, walk or potentially drive just a little bit to be able to go get your mail. For some people that's not a big deal, other people it may be, so it's just something to consider. Like most of the houses here are going to have a mailbox outside for you to be able to get your own mail, but it's just something, you know, if you're coming from out of town or maybe you haven't driven the neighborhood, something that you may not know. Obviously we're walking on an area that doesn't have any sidewalks, but there's actually quite a few people that we've seen going up and down the street. There's not much traffic. We're on Pillow Street, in case you were wondering kind of what area of WeHo that we're in. Yeah, I mean, you're gonna see a variety of houses. So more of the starter home kind of, you know, behind us, something that needs a little work, something that could be a potential tear down in the future that ends up being something like right across the street, you know, where you've got the duplexes. So it seems to be a theme for today if you've been following along. So we can show you some by walking here. We'll show you some at the end of the street, some of the views of the things that are happening around here. And you may even be able to hear through the mic some of the construction that's taken place. This is an area that is in significant transformation. So like this house behind me, if you're looking for something a little bit bigger and you're wanting to be in the WeHo area, 5-bedroom, 5.5 bath, you're looking at right at $3.4 million. So it's gonna be, you know, a little bit higher on the price point in the WeHo area, but you're gonna have the square footage that you're looking for, you're gonna have the bedrooms, the bathrooms, and when we talk about gentrification, you've got, you know, some houses that are older houses that are in this area, but most of it's gonna be new construction, but you've got, you know, industrial that's right across the street. One thing that's kind of interesting is when there is events that are happening, you'll see a lot of the houses, I mean, this is how significant the street traffic can be. I mean, it's like surges or waves of traffic that can come through this area. You know, you've got like a convention center, and you've got the Nashville Fairgrounds Speedway, and then you've got the soccer stadium all in one area, plus, you know, other items, other things that are in this area, is that for a mile out, when the soccer games are going out, you'll see people advertising for parking in their yard, you know, for 20 bucks, 25, 30 bucks, and they're just filling up their yards, you know, full of cars. So you've got to know, and that's, if you just came here today and you showed up and you're like, oh, I like that house and I'm gonna go buy that house. And then all of a sudden for an entire season of soccer season or other events that are going on and this traffic is just a nightmare, that could prove to be an area that you're like, this is not for me. I'm not good with this. Now, it's almost like being outside of a school zone. Like it's only for certain periods, right? It's like when the game is starting and when the game is letting out, or when the event is starting or the event is letting out. But there's a lot going on in this area. Now, are you walkable to some of those areas? For sure. So it's nice to be close and to be in proximity. So if you're into art things, like there's an art walk that takes place through here, which I'm sure would be amazing. I haven't participated in it. So there's a lot that's going on that's right on your back door, but also there's other people that are coming to participate in these items that are right in your back door. I mean, how interesting is this? So you've got a commercial place. So this is for lease. You can tell that, you know, they can have semi trucks or whatnot that pull up here to drop things off right next to, you know, a $3.4 million building, which is, you know, you can see a new apartment complex that looks like it's probably 8 levels high. That's right over here. And then, you know, if you could see through that building, you would see the AT&T building. So there's a lot that's kind of going on here, but there's people that like variety. There's people that like, you know, non-cookie cutter. They like, you know, a little bit of spice and the creative. I mean, there's a ton that's happening. So, but with all of this density, and when I say that, and there's not been much traffic that's been going up and down, you know, this particular street, but we're not in the middle of an event or one of those, you know, one of those surges. And the sidewalk piece can be very hit or miss. It just depends if you're in front of, if there's been some new construction that's been built, like, you know, these couple of homes here, you've got a sidewalk. You go a little bit further up the street and there's no sidewalk. And that may not be important to you. You may just kind of stay in your house and you may just go to work, and that's fine. But we're talking about literally on the same street. Like right now on neither side of the street are you gonna have sidewalks. I'm a big guy, but believe it or not, I'm actually in decent shape. But you know, some of these hills here will get you. The WeHo area definitely has more hills going up and down, which personally I like. I think it adds some character, not just character to your cardio, but it just has more scenic. But like, take this house behind me. So this just sold, you know, within the last couple of months. All these houses that I'm telling you guys about from the time of filming have all sold within the last 3 months. So this house, 3-bedroom, 2.5 bath, 1,888 square feet, sold for right at $899. So, you know, for a single family home, it is an attached HPR, but you're still, you know, you're in your own residence for $899. And I mean, you've got 2 balconies there. Now, we were talking about the hills, you know, going up and down. You know, stairs, sometimes that can come with some of these hills. So a lot of them are gonna have a few more, you know, steps to the front porch. If you've been paying attention, you know, some of the houses we've gone up and down, maybe not as many as this particular house behind me, but most of them are gonna have at least 4 steps. Some of them are gonna have more like 6 to 10 steps. So for some people, where steps for a house is like, that's not something that I want, maybe this would be an area that you may wanna, you know, consider, you know, a different area of Nashville. Just kind of throwing that out there. But we got more stuff to go look at. We've got a great park to go look at. We're gonna go look at Sevier Park, go check that out. We gotta make sure that you got the vibe of the area, so that way you can decide, is this my tribe? Because this is a unique area. I mean, all of them are unique, but this one, you know, it just, each of them, it's like if you had 21 kids. They're all gonna be a little bit different in their own way. It doesn't make any of them good or any of them bad. They're just, you know, they're different. My goal is that unless there's a change of life situation, you know, job change or, you know, something else that happens, that with the information from this channel, that you're able to buy something and stay there for a long time and be really happy. Find your community, find friends, maybe even find love. So we're finishing up today at the Sevier Park Community Center. We're just gonna go over the positives and negatives of WeHo. So some of the positives, if you haven't caught it, it's the creativity that's in the area. The creativity, I mean, if you are an artist or, you know, have those type of vibes, I mean, you're gonna be hard pressed to find an area that you're gonna feel more at home in Nashville. So I think the second point is, second positive is the price point. Like, guys, we're 2.5 miles from Nashville, 2.5 miles south of Nashville. And for that proximity to be able to, you know, we showed you a condo today, it's for 300 grand. I mean, it's 400 some square feet, but I mean, it closed just a couple months ago. For 300 grand to be able to get into this area, like anywhere in Nashville, that is a good price. And when you're looking at other positives of this is the variety of housing. Guys, I mean, you've got, you know, the condos, you've got the attached HPRs, the detached HPRs, you've got the single family homes, you've got some gorgeous homes that have been remodeled, you've got some modern homes that are here, you've got kind of that, some of those that are industrial areas, some mixed use areas. You've got just about anything you can think of. So the variety of housing here is incredible. Plus, there's a lot that's happening right in your own backyard, and we're at Sevier Park, and this is only minutes away from the WeHo area. So you've got a whole lot of positives that are there. All right, so some of the negatives of the WeHo area, the traffic, you know, you really need to come during an event to get a feel of what we were talking about, because it is all encompassing in that area. So even some of the side streets there, I mean, there's traffic that can be incredibly dense. And you look at your main areas, main avenues into Nashville, so you're probably going to be getting on either 8th Avenue South or 12th Avenue South from there. And so traffic getting into Nashville is going to be, you know, a little bit congested. So another one of the negatives is the noise. So you still are in, I mean, it's not used to be an industrial area. There is some still, you know, industries that are operating, and the zoning there is a little bit interesting. So we showed you a house that, you know, literally you have a $3.4 million house, and then right next door is a commercial area that you could, you know, in the middle of the night have trucks that are backing in, semi-trucks backing in to unload stuff. And, you know, there's a place right across the street that was industrial as well. And it's like, you know, that's obviously is not the best. Why are we at Sevier Park? Well, some of you may be, you know, Sevier Park's not in WeHo. Yeah, that's one of the negatives, is there are no parks in WeHo. If you're wanting like an outdoor area, you've got to kind of leave WeHo to go to another community to be able to go to the local park. Here we are at the Sevier Park Community Center in, of course, Sevier Park. So we're shooting this video specifically for WeHo, but it's not like the park belongs to one area. So this is actually closer to the 12th Avenue South, but if you're in WeHo, this is going to be the closest park to you. Also, Shelby Bottoms Park is going to be close. That's a, you know, much larger park with more trails and some other things. But for today, we're going to shoot this park because there's a whole lot going on. So we just came from inside. I mean, it's pretty fantastic. The staff were incredibly nice, multiple staff in there. They've got, you know, bikes that you can ride. They've got a basketball court, foosball. I could spend 15 minutes just on the stuff that they have inside there, but super cool. But there's a lot going on outside the park today too. So we talked a little bit about WeHo, and I'm like, you know, hey, there's hills it's a little bit hillier area. It's going to go the same for this park. Now, we're in a little bit more of a level area here, but I mean, most of this park, a big portion of it at least, is going to be at a slope. So why am I bringing that up? Because at some of the other parks we've talked about, oh, this is a great park for you to go play soccer in, or to play football, or to maybe go fly a kite. It's not that you can't do that here, but gravity's going to be working against you a little bit. So just kind of keep that in mind, but it doesn't make this park any less spectacular. I mean, I would say there's probably 300-400 people that are here today, and in numerous of the other parks that we've gone to, there was nobody that was there. So people come to a place where there's a lot going on, and there's a lot of cool stuff that's going on here. So yeah, I mean, you see kids, little tykes, you see, you know, people of all ages, and you know, they're out walking. Some people have their dogs, they're walking their dogs. Some people have babies and they're pushing strollers. Yeah, a lot of playground stuff here. If you're a little tyke, this may be one of your favorites. Yeah, they happen to have like the 12th Avenue South Farmers Market that's going on today. So that's brought a lot of people. I bet they've got to have at least 40 tents that are out here of all kinds of stuff. You know, we walked through here a little bit earlier, and I mean, they had, like, I mean, good stuff, like some smoked crab dip. They've got like some gourmet lemonade, which on a summer day in August, it's not the worst thing to have. They've got great music that's playing out here. They've got some different ice creams, and they've got even a guy that's got like a stone pizza thing that's going on out here. So we're doing this to give you a little bit of the vibe, because this park is different than some of the other parks that are out there. They all have their own personality, but not all of them are going to have kind of a farmer's market and fresh produce and some homemade tea and some homemade breads. And guys, if this don't make you feel like you're in the South and make you feel like the sense of community that's here, there's even some Titan cheerleaders that are here. Let's see if you got that at your park in your hometown. What's up? So, representing Sevier Park, baby. Yeah, we're walking around just to give you an idea of the vibe, right? The vibe of the area, to see, is this your tribe? Because this may not be your thing. If this isn't your thing, I'm gonna say it. You are not cool, okay? You are not cool. Now, you can be cool and this not be your thing. But I like to stimulate the local economy, and so sometimes it's a little tough to keep it moving, but let's face it, I am blessed. Like, this is an incredible job that I get to do, and I appreciate you guys watching. The whole purpose of this is to educate you, to give you guys a little bit of a feel. I can take a little bit of time to maybe save you some time, from the comfort of wherever that you're at, to be able to learn more about some of these areas. And so if you like what you see, feel free to like and subscribe. Give us some input, stuff that you'd like to see, stuff that you've liked, or if you live in any of these areas. So today we're focused on WeHo. If you live in WeHo and there's some stuff about your community that you want to talk about, put it in the comments down below. I'd love to hear from you. So thanks for hanging out with us today. If you need some help finding a home or selling a home in any of these areas, our contact information is down below. And thank you so much for your time today, for hanging out with us for a little bit. And we hope that you got what you needed. So take care.